Who's honking that horn? Your husband? Well, get dressed and get that delicious booty in his car. Same time, same place tomorrow. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad. X on TikTok, Mad Mickey's World, and on Snapchat, BMouth60 Mick, your host with the most. She is a testament to that. So a very warm welcome to Thursday's edition of the DCU Daily. I've got a couple of juicy world exclusives for you from the DC universe. But first, let's clarify one thing. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, has completed principal photography. That means the filming part of that film has been done, has been completed. Is it me, or does it take them less and less time to complete principal photography these days? It's probably because most of the work is done on a computer. How sad is that? But there is a part of me that's very, very excited that the first two movies in the DCU are set in the House of L. A Superman movie this July the 11th. I'll get to see it twice, or back to back on July the 9th, so I can do a full review for you. Can't wait to inform you about that movie. Let's hope it's a great Superman movie. And then to have a Supergirl movie straight after Superman the following year is very, very exciting. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if we get a teaser trailer for Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow attached at the cinema to Superman. How exciting would that be? But as I promised, there are two world exclusives for you today. And you know, I'm just a little channel. When I say I'm a little channel, I don't have 20k or 40k subscribers. I've barely got any subscribers, any views. I appreciate those of you who drop the likes and drop the views and who have subscribed or even consumed the channel. It's very, very nice of you to spend your precious time with me at least once a day. Let me explain to you. This means the world to me. I'm a guy who had no friends at school, barely has any friends in the real world. To have you online friends, you fellow DC fans and movie fans, geeks and nerds, join me once a day and give me some love about the channel means a lot to me. We are friends, right? We got something in common. We are friends. So here is your two world exclusives. First of all, I can exclusively reveal via my sources, of course, take anything with a pinch of salt, but I trust my sources, that there hasn't been 20 minutes shaved off of the Superman movie. What happened with that rumour, and it was a rumour, was that people were going to see test screenings that were around 1 hour, 55 minutes, 2 hours. So people started making assumptions and spreading rumours that 20 minutes had been shaved off from this movie. So I can exclusively reveal today, let me repeat to you, that 20 minutes has not been cut from this Superman movie. I think it's very important that we don't go to a 2-hour movie or an under a 2-hour movie. When I was growing up as a kid, we enjoyed movies that were 80, 88 minutes long. But people like a lot of meat in their sandwich today. Even Superman 78 is around, 2 hours, 15, 20 minutes. So even that's a good length. And I think that's very important that this movie stays a good length. Now here's my other exclusive. David Zaslav is very worried about a vote of no confidence from the Warner Brothers Discovery Board if Superman flops. Now, I'm going to explain to you who the players are at Warner Brothers Discovery and Warner Brothers Pictures. So, David Zaslav was the CEO of Discovery. Then they merged with AT&T in the ownership of Warner Brothers. So what happened is you've got the whole ownership of Warner Brothers now is Warner Brothers Discovery. David Zaslav is the big boss, right? He's the big gangster running the whole company. He's the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, Pam Adby and Mike DeLuca were recruited from Amazon by David Zaslav to be the co-CEOs of Warner Brothers Pictures. That's the arm of the movie production. Now, you may have noticed Variety that's very much linked with Warner Brothers and seems to be the platform, the news site for entertainment, where when they want to spread some propaganda that Warner Brothers want them to, it comes from Tatiana Siegel, which I think is their head lead, I think, and it comes from Variety. So what was going on is all of a sudden Tatiana and Variety was spreading news because Warner Brothers had back-to-back flops that Zaslav was interviewing new people to take over Adby and DeLuca's position as co-CEOs of Warner Brothers Pictures. Now, this wasn't exactly true, but what Zaslav was doing via Variety was trying to shift the blame in advance to Adby and DeLuca so they would get removed. He could remove them and the board wouldn't question him if and when Superman flops. He doesn't know if Superman's going to flop. So like the back-to-back hits like Joker Folie à Deux, Joker Folie à Deux, or however you say it, Joker 2, that, I don't even think that Mike and Pam actually greenlit Joker Folie à Deux, Joker 2. So it's not even their fault anyway. They saw a cut, they were happy with it. Zaslav wasn't happy with a cut, but publicly he tried to blame Mike and Pam for these flops. And then a very, very funny thing has happened in the past few weeks, which is kind of made the plan blame Adby and DeLuca crash and burn. Minecraft and Sinners from Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan have been huge hits. So this means that Mike and Pam are going nowhere. Because if you're looking at the stuff that's been greenlit since they've arrived, those two movies were the first two. Now, Michael B. Jordan has always had a really good relationship. Mostly makes his movies at WB since he was a young actor. And he's become a great director. You know, he directed the Last Creed movie as well. Really, really good movie. So he's a great actor. He's a great guy. But those two projects, Minecraft and Sinners, were green-lit by Mike and Pam. I think probably the first two projects, or the first few projects, green-lit by them. So what they're doing at Warner Brothers Pictures is paying fruition. So imagine this guy Zaslav, who has no scripted entertainment experience, trying to think he can blame two veterans of the industry for his failure. Mike DeLuca in a recent interview admitted that he was making WB Pictures decisions before he was officially with Pam, the co-CEO of Warner Brothers Pictures, and he was the one who asked James Gunn to write a Superman movie. But Mike and Pam weren't the ones who looked at that script and said to James Gunn, I'm formulating a DC Studios. James, I'd like you to be the co-CEO. Peter Safran, who was involved with all those DCEU flops, you're going to be his co-CEO. He's the one who made those decisions. So, and he's been overseeing personally the development of this Superman movie. The success or failure he will be held responsible by the Warner Brothers Discovery Board. And if this film flops and flops bad, there will be a vote of no confidence in David Zaslav. This is how big industry is run, not just in the entertainment industry. So what he's been trying to do via WB's influence at Variety and their, let's say, friendship with Tatiana Siegel, right? When I think of her, I think of a witch. I think of the witch in The Wizard of Oz, right? She really is one of those people. So she's been spreading some misinformation on Zaslav's behalf, that he was interviewing new people to replace them. All nonsense, basically, to distract the narrative, because there has been a lot of negativity coming from this Superman movie. And a lot of the negativity is coming, of course, from the Snyderverse stands. But they're being very effective with their negative propaganda. They're a very, very clever fan base, and I have to give them credit for that. What they're doing is somewhat working. But ultimately, if there's a good movie up on that movie screen, then basically the Snyderverse stands are going to be like Homer Simpson when he's backing in to the green hedge in that gif, right? Whoever loses the narrative, whether it's the Gunn Bros, if they lose the narrative that James Gunn isn't the bestest director ever, then they're going to be ones backing into the hedge. But if Superman's a success, then the Snyder fans will be silenced forever. They can keep on fighting to bring Snyder's verse back, but they'd look really stupid if James Gunn's made a successful movie to keep on shitting on that guy. So basically, this is how big this release of this film is. A group of people are going to look absolutely stupid. So Zaslav's very much aware that the success or failure of Superman, will be blamed on him, either positively or negatively. And this is where this is all come from. So this is why I find this film the most fascinating situation in the entertainment industry. One of the biggest situations in Hollywood history. Movie theatres are relying on this movie being successful. Hollywood are relying on this movie in being successful. Everyone is either relying on this movie to succeed or fail. As a big movie fan, a fan of stories, a writer, director, actor myself, I want this film to be brilliant because I'm a huge Superman and DC fan as well. So I never sit there hoping that a director, has egg on their faces, right? But there's a lot of people who want Gunn to fail. It doesn't really matter what people want. If he's made a good movie, he's made a good movie. And I've always been very transparent about this. I've enjoyed his 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I enjoyed thoroughly his Suicide Squad movie and his Peacemaker streaming series. Now, he's not my favourite director, and I don't necessarily think the way he makes films is the way. I don't think he's Scorsese or Coppola or Spielberg, right? But I like his films. They make me feel good. They're exciting. The VFX always looks decent. He gets good performances from actors. I like what Gunn does. Yes, he's somewhat a one-trick pony. But when that one trick works, it works. And if it works, it works. And that's fine. When I was young, we had these music producers called Stock, Aitken and Waterman, right? Pete Waterman had this company. And every background music of each song, whether it was Rick Astley, Sania, it all sounded the same. I still went out and bought those 7-inch records and those albums, and I loved Kylie and Jason and Rick Astley, etc., etc. Even though most of the songs were just teeny bopper pop music, and they all sounded like a version of the last music, the last song, but I still loved them. So if this is a Superman movie that's very reminiscent of Guardians, and I've enjoyed it, fair enough. I believe, even at a low level, I will enjoy this movie. The question is, how much will we enjoy this movie? Because I don't see this movie being total rubbish, right? Because he's never made a bad CBN. That's a fact. People can cry about the Suicide Squad, it was this, that, the other. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it at the end of the day. I won't compare it to David Ayer's Suicide Squad because we've never seen David Ayer's Suicide Squad. We saw a Suicide Squad that was rewritten by Jeff Johns and that was edited by a pop music video company. That's not David's film. How dare you compare that film to the Suicide Squad and call out David Ayer, you absolute idiots. But anyway, this is where we are now. There's a divided DC fan base. Everyone wants different things, and we know that Superman fans are the ultimate nitpickers. We saw it with Superman Returns. We saw it with Man of Steel. It's not easy to please Superman fans. So it's very, very interesting. The teaser was brilliant. The TV spot when Superman's flying, I didn't much care for. But that preview was brilliant, and the BTS trailer was great as well. So we're at a very, very interesting place now. How will the marketing work? It's been pretty much non-existent. But as you can see, they've got this initiative now for kids to draw on cards or whatever it is. This is great to try and get kids involved. I think that's a great thing. So all these little things that they're doing. In terms of footage and interviews, you're going to see a lot of that within 6 weeks to go. When there's 6 weeks to the release of this movie, or about a month or so, they're going to just machine gun Superman in our faces every day, every second, every minute. This is why they're not doing too much now. They want the film to stay in the memory. We're too far off yet for them to machine gun the marketing, and that's their plan. The question is, will it work?